Hello friends, welcome to chemistry class. Today's chemistry class, I'm going to explain you about the metal carbonyls. The complexes which are having carbon monoxide as the ligand are called as the metal carbonyls. These metal carbonyls having vast applications in the organic synthesis. They act as a catalyst or they act as the precursors of the catalyst in the organic synthesis. The first prepared one is the nickel tetracarbonyl. This nickel tetracarbonyl has triggered the interest in creating different types of metal carbonyls. In this class, I'm going to explain you about the preparations, the basic bonding in the metal carbonyls, what is the hybridization, how the bonding is there between the metal and the carbon monoxide ligand, metal carbonyls, and I'm going to explain you about the classification. I'm going to explain you about the effective atomic number, how it is applied for the metal carbonyls. And the next class will see the structures, hybridizations. So I'm going to explain you by screen share. So metal carbonyls, as I have told you, metal carbonyls contain carbon monoxide molecules as the ligands. These are metal carbonyls. So there are here metal carbonyls, the coordination of the complexes of the transition metal with the carbon monoxide ligand. It is in the low oxidation state. Generally, this central metal atom is in the zero oxidation state or -1 or the +1 oxidation state. In this carbon monoxide ligand, they act as the neutral ligands. This carbon in this CO ligand acts as the neutral ligand. So N-CO bond, CO is the neutral ligand, and the metal central metal atom which is having the low oxidation state, it can be -1, +1, or 0. So generally you'll be saving the 0 oxidation state. Metal carbonyls, they were first synthesized by Paul Schutzenberger in 1868 by using passing the chlorine and carbon monoxide over the platinum black. And dicarbonyl dichloroplatinum carbonyl compound was prepared. Okay, so there are general characters. The general characters of these compounds are they obey the 18 electron rule. They obey the 18 electron rule. What I have told you, that is the EAN. Normally they are diamagnetic in nature. And all the monomeric monocarbonyls are colorless compounds. The polymeric polycarbonyl compounds are colored compounds. These are the poor conductors of the electricity and they can be sublimated at the low temperature. Generally, they're soluble in the organic solvents. As I have told you, they're soluble in the organic solvents. They're used in the organic synthesis. That is, they're used as the catalyst or the catalyst precursors. Metal complexes, you have to remember the basic 3 points. Metal complexes containing CO ligands of the metal carbonyls. The basic 3 points which you have to remember for the metal carbonyls are CO, it is a CO, carbon monoxide, though it is a poor sigma electron donor. Always a ligand is a donor of the electrons. Ligand is the donor of the electrons. So it is a poor sigma electron donor, but still it forms a stable complexes with all the transition metals. As I have told you, metals are in the low OS, oxidation states, that is 0, 1, and -1. So they follow the 18 electron rule and they are diamagnetic in nature. Basically, these are classified into mononuclear, binuclear, and polynuclear carbonyls. So what are the mononuclear carbonyls? The mononuclear carbonyls are the carbonyl compounds where the central metal, where the carbonyl contains one metal atom. Here, mononuclear carbonyls are nothing but the carbonyls which contain one metal atom per molecule of the carbon monoxide. One carbon monoxide ligand contains one metal atom. Those are mononuclear carbonyls. You can call it as a binuclear carbonyls or bridged nuclear carbonyls. In these carbonyls, each carbonyl ligand is attached to two central metal atoms. If there are two central metal atoms in that complex carbonyl compound in that, then you call it as a bi, or you can even call it as a bridged. Okay, the carbonyls which contain two metal atoms per nuclei. Okay, they are called as the bridged. The polynuclear carbonyls. In the polynuclear carbonyls, these contain three or more metal atoms. Polynuclear carbonyls contain three or more metal atoms per molecule are called as the polynuclear carbonyls. Okay, so we'll see the examples for this. The examples are here. Mononuclear, I have explained you. See here, mononuclear carbonyls. In these mononuclear carbonyls, there is only one central metal atom to the carbon monoxide ligand. Here, nickel tetracarbonyl, palladium tetracarbonyl, you can take it as an example for this type, tetracarbonyl. This is a mononuclear carbonyl, MCO whole of Y type, the molecular formula. Okay, the molecular formula N in the brackets CO, carbon monoxide ligand, X, one metal atom for one carbonyl. Okay, here, one carbonyl compound, one. For this one also the same, even for this one, the same. Similarly, pentacarbonyls, hexacarbonyls you can take. Here there are 5 carbonyls, but only one central metal. Each carbonyl to one metal. Here, hexacarbonyls, vanadium, chromium, molybdenum, tungsten. These form the hexacarbonyl compounds. Iron, ruthenium, osmium forms the pentacarbonyl compounds. So nickel, palladium forms the tetracarbonyl compounds. All these three are the mononuclear compounds. All these three are the mononuclear compounds. Each carbonyl to one metal. 4 carbonyls are there. So therefore you call it as 4 carbonyl compounds, but only one central metal atom. Each carbon monoxide, 1 metal. So you call mononuclear. Here, 5 carbonyls, pentacarbonyl. In the monocarbonyls, tetracarbonyls are there, pentacarbonyls are there, hexacarbonyls are there. If the carbonyl number is 4, then that is tetracarbonyl. If the carbonyl number is 5, then that is pentacarbonyl. But still it is a mononuclear because the center you're having, the nucleus is only one, the metal is only one. So this metal is bonded to one carbon. So you call it as a mononuclear. Only one metal. Okay, for a carbonyl. Each carbonyl is attached to only one central metal. Okay, iron pentacarbonyl, ruthenium, osmium. And now coming to this one, hexacarbonyls, mononuclear, you are having even the hexacarbonyl. Here 6 carbonyls are there. Each carbonyl is attached only to one central metal atom. Each carbonyl is attached only to one central metal atom. 6 carbonyls are attached here. So it is hexacarbonyl. And each carbonyl only to one nucleus, mononuclear. That is only one central metal atom. So vanadium, chromium, molybdenum, tungsten, all these D elements, D block transition elements will form hexacarbonyl mononuclear carbonyls. Now coming to the binuclear carbonyls. So now coming to this binuclear carbonyls. In these binuclear carbonyls, you are having 2 central metal atoms. The cobalt, this is cobalt, CO, 2 cobalt central metal atoms are there, and remaining are the carbon monoxides. So CO twice, CO8. So this is the carbon monoxide is the ligand, this cobalt is the central metal. There are 2 central metal atoms, so you call it as binuclear. Binuclear carbonyl compounds. So M2COX, M2CO whole of X is a general form. You will be having 2 central metal atoms. Okay, you will be having bridged metal-metal bonds. Okay, now here the other one example. This CO in the solution state it exists in this way, and in the solid state you are having this. One carbonyl is attached to 2 metal atoms. One cobalt is attached to another cobalt. And in between you are having bridged. In the solid state you are having the bridged state. In the solution state you are having, there are no bridges. Okay, so cobalt central metal atom is attached to cobalt, another central metal atom, and both of them are having a bridged ligand, carbon monoxide. Here also cobalt is attached to the bridged carbon monoxide ligand, and 3 carbon monoxides right side and the left side. Right side and left side, 3 plus you're having. So CO2 all of twice. Okay, now coming to the binuclear, another carbonyl compound, iron carbonyl compounds. Here you can see this one. Iron is attached to iron, Fe2CO9. Iron cobalt compound, this one complex. Iron is attached to iron, and this carbon monoxide in between it. Carbon monoxide is attached. Each central metal atoms, 2 central metal atoms are directly bonded as well as through the carbon monoxide ligand also there. Here there are carbon monoxide ligands attached to 2 metal atoms. One carbon monoxide ligand is attached to central metal atoms. Such type of you call it as the bridged nuclear carbonyls or else binuclear metal carbonyls. Okay, so Fe2CO9. Here 3 and 3, 6, and 3 are in the center. Fe is bonded with the CO with another F. Here, one Fe is bonded to one CO, another F. Similarly, the other carbon monoxide. So this is the way this binuclear compounds are. Still, you can see some of the examples. So manganese, tellurium, rhenium, you can take even these complexes are the binuclear compounds. 2 central metal atoms are present. M2CO10 type, M2CO8, M2CO9, M2CO10. Okay, so these are the binuclear compounds. Now we'll see the polynuclear compounds. Polynuclear carbonyl compounds, you are having in this polynuclear compounds, the carbonyls contain 3 or more central metal atoms for each carbonyl molecule. Okay, so here Fe3CO2, you can see Fe3CO2 here. One CO attached to 2 atoms, another CO is attached. Okay, similarly M3CO12 type, even the ruthenium and osmium you can take as example. Fe3CO12. These dotted ones are the carbon monoxide ligands, and Fe, this is the central metal. Okay, 3 central metals surrounding you having CO ligands. And in this one also you have. Okay, so if in case if I draw as CO, there will be no clarity. That's the reason we're getting pictures as dots. This dot. Dots indicate the CO molecules, CO ligands. Similarly, M3CO12. M3CO12 also, ruthenium and the osmium. You can take examples. Here 4 ligands, 3 ligands. Okay. See here 4 ligands. And for this one also 4 ligands. And for this metal atom also 4, 3 is 12. Okay. Here also the same. Each iron, it is having 4. And 1 center. Here also 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now the other example, M3CO12. Okay, cobalt. So the polynuclear also different types of structures are here. One type of structure with bridged COs. Here one type of structure with no bridge COs. And iron, it is having bridged COs. Ruthenium and osmium are not having any bridged COs. And cobalt and ruthenium, you are having the bridges. You can see here. So metal bridges also you can see. Metal bridges also we can see. And for these the carbonyls are attached. Yeah. Okay. So here 2 COs, here 2 COs, here 2 COs, and bridging between M3 are there. Okay, so total 6, 7, 8, 9, and here without any bridges 11, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so this type of bridging is found in the cobalt carbonyl component, rhodium carbonyl component. Now coming to the iridium, you're having a different structure, the polynuclear structure. Iridiums, central metal are 4, and there are 12. There are no CO bridges here. Only metal bridges are found. 3, 3, 3, 3, 12. There are no CO bridges. Only the metal bridges are found in the iridium carbonyl compound. Now coming to the very complex polynuclear compound, it is formed by the cobalt and rhodium. That formula is M6CO16. It's a very complicated structure. There you can see the carbonyl bridges, you can see metal bridges, everything is a complicated. Okay, so I hope you have understood this classification. So what are metal carbonyls? And introduction we have seen the basic properties. Generally CO, it is in the low oxidation state. It is a poor sigma donor, but still forms a stable complexes. And what is the classification also we have. Now let us go for the bonding. Let us go for the bonding in the metal carbonyls. Now, in the metal carbonyls, once if you see, formation of the sigma bond, the overlapping of the how it is formed. First, the sigma bond is there, sigma bond, how it is formed. The overlapping of the empty hybrid orbital on the metal with filled hybrid orbital of the carbon atom and carbon monoxide. Here you can see the metal. So metal, it is a transition element. It is having empty d orbitals. Okay, so this empty d orbital of the, it is undergoing hybridization. We have seen previous sessions complex, metal complex. In the complexes, the central metal atom d orbital, it is undergoing hybridization. It's undergoing hybridization, and you'll be getting the hybrid orbital, empty hybrid orbitals. And now the ligands will come and give the electrons. Here, there is an empty hybrid orbital in this metal. And in the carbon monoxide, in the carbon monoxide ligand, this is the CO ligand. C triple bond O ligand. It is having, even this one has undergone hybridization, and it is having filled electrons, 2 electrons, filled hybrid orbitals with filled electrons. Here you are having the hybrid orbitals with empty orbital. Now the filled hybrid orbital of the carbon will give electrons to the metal, empty orbital metal. Okay, ligand to metal, sigma bonding is formed. Donation of CO lone pair. What you call lone pair? They are undergoing hybridization. The pair of electrons are there in the valence orbital. Okay, so that is nothing but the lone pair. In the valence orbital, you are having the pair of electrons. That is lone pair of electrons. Okay, ligand, that is nothing but CO. Ligand to metal, sigma bond. Ligand to metal, sigma bond. CO here, it's nothing but that sigma bonding, how it is formed? By donation of CO lone pair of electrons to empty orbital on the metal. Here is the empty orbital. This is hybrid orbital. Even this is hybrid orbital. Here you are having 2 electrons, and you are having here you are having 2 electrons, and here you are having hybrid orbital with empty orbital. 2 electrons are donated. Coordinate covalent bond is formed. Okay, so here this is a sigma bond. This is nothing but a sigma bond is formed in the arrow mark. Okay, so MCO sigma bond. It's indicated. Empty orbital, filled hybrid. From here, 2 electrons donated here. So this is the donor, this is the acceptor. That is the arrow mark. Arrow mark is nothing but the bond. Okay, this is the sigma bond. Now we'll see the pi bond by back donation. How you're getting the pi bond back donation, you can see a peculiar character. The bond is formed here. You can see the sigma bond formation is completed. Now we'll go, another bond is there between metal and the carbon monoxide. There are double bonds, one metal and carbon monoxide. Metal and carbon monoxide are having two bonds. One I have explained here, it is the sigma bond. The other one is the pi bond. So sigma bond, it is formed by donation of the lone pair of electrons from CO2 from carbon hybrid orbital to metal. Sigma bond is formed. Now, formation of the pi bond by back donation. The bond is formed. The pi bond is formed by back donation. This bond is formed because of overlapping of the filled d pi orbitals or hybrid d pi orbitals of metal with anti-bonding pi orbitals of the carbon monoxide. In the carbon monoxide, you are having one more anti-bonding pi orbital. And in the metal, you are having d pi orbital. Metal's d pi orbital is filled. Metal's d pi orbital is filled. And here, anti-pi bonding orbital of the CO is not filled. So again, from backside, there is donation of the electrons from metal d pi orbital to anti-bonding pi orbital on the carbon monoxide. Okay, so here again you are getting the electrons. So from here it is getting donated, the electron pair donation. This is called back donation. This is called back donation. Previously, directly CO is giving 2 electrons to metal and sigma bond is. Now, again, the filled orbital of the metal will give its 2 electrons to the empty anti-bonding orbital of the CO molecule. So a double bond is formed. One is sigma, the other one is the pi. Sigma formed due to electrons donation from CO to M. Pi is formed by back donation of the metal to carbon monoxide. I hope everybody have understood. I'm repeating. 2 bonds are there, sigma and pi bond. One bond is formed due to donation of electron pair from CO to metal. Other bond is formed due to back donation of the electrons from d pi orbital of the metal, hybrid orbital, d pi hybrid orbital of metal to the anti-bonding pi orbital of CO. One is in this direction, sigma, the other one is in this direction, back donation, that is pi. Okay, so how many bonds are present between metal and the carbonyl compound? Two bonds. One is sigma and one is the pi bond. So you can see the metal carbonyls have sigma and pi cap. So therefore you can see the sigma and pi cap. Sigma bond, you know how it is formed? Vacant d orbital of the central metal atom and bonding filled pi orbital of the carbon. Carbon monoxide, it is triple bonded. This filled electrons will give to the empty metal orbital, that is sigma. And again, metal are having d pi filled orbitals. This complete is one orbital. This complete is one orbital. So pi bond is formed by the parallel overlapping. Upper lobe will give its electrons to this pi star. Again, this lower lobe is also. Only one bond is formed. I'm showing you here two. This is the parallel overlapping, lateral overlapping. Okay, not on the axis. Sigma bond formed on the axis. Above axis, you are having the pi bond. Here, 2 pi's are donated, but it's only one bond. Okay, so this blue colored indicates the filled orbital of the metal. This white indicates the empty orbital of the metal. In the carbon monoxide, white one indicates the empty orbitals. This complete is one orbital. And the blue one is the filled orbital of this. So this filled orbital donates electrons to the empty metal orbital and forms sigma. And in reverse, here CO is giving electrons to the empty orbital, filled CO orbital giving electrons to the empty orbital of the metal, and thereby sigma bond form. First bond. Second bond, how it is formed? The filled metal d pi orbital gives its electrons, this is filled, it gives its electrons to the pi star orbital of the carbon monoxide. This is called back donation. Okay, this complete one is one orbital, and this complete one is one orbital. So by lateral overlapping, okay, so here this overlapping and this overlapping will give you one pi orbital. Here there is indication as 3 arrows, but not 3 bonds. These are not 3 bonds. The center one is one bond. The above and the down one is the second bond. Okay. So above the axis and below the axis overlapping takes place, and only one bond is formed. This complete is one orbital above the axis and below the axis. This is axis. Above the axis and below the axis overlapping takes place. This one orbital. It is above the axis and below the axis. And bonding takes place. This filled one will give you the electrons to the unfilled orbital. Above the axis and below the axis. This donation will take place. Back bonding takes place. Above and below. Therefore, one pi bond is formed. One pi bond is formed. Okay. So this how CO molecule is formed, I'm going to show in the next slide. CO. How CO is formed. So till now, everybody have understood now? Metal carbonyl, you're having only 2 bonds. Sigma, one is pi. How sigma formed? Filled CO hybrid orbital gives electrons to the empty hybrid orbital of metal. That is sigma. Okay. That is action over. Now, the second bond, how it is formed? This complete one. Filled metal orbital, d pi orbital, gives its electrons to the empty hybrid orbital, anti-bonding orbital of the carbon monoxide. This complete is one orbital. So it is not through the axis, above the axis and below the axis. Overlapping above the axis and below the axis will give you pi orbital. One pi orbital, one pi bond is formed. Okay. So this is the bonding in the metal complexes. Now we'll see, I have shown you M double bond CO formation. Now we'll see how CO is formed. CO, carbon monoxide, carbon plus oxygen gives you CO. We'll see the molecular orbital diagram of the carbonyl molecule. Here, the first one, carbon, 1s6, 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. Okay, 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. 4 is the valency for carbon. Fourth group element 2. 1s2 it is filled 1. This is the valence electrons. 2s2, 2px1, 2p1 is the valency. Now box diagram I have drawn. 1s2 here, 2s2 2 electrons, 2p1 1 electron, 2p1 is 1 electron. Okay. Similarly, we'll go for the oxygen. Oxygen. Here you are having 1s2 6. This is the sixth group element. We'll be having 6 valence electrons. 1s2, 2s2, 2px1, 2p1, 2pz2. All of them are having same energies. Any of the orbital, you can fill 2 electrons. So Z is 2 electrons. So 1s2, it is the innermost one, first shell filled. This will not come under hybridization. This one is 1s. Now the valency is only 2s, 2p2. 2s, 2p4 is the valency. Now, this one I have arranged in the box diagram. Box diagram I have arranged. Okay, I have filled in the electrons. Now this will undergo sp hybridization. C triple bond O will form. Triple bond means that is sp hybridization. One s orbital and one p orbital will undergo hybridization in carbon, and two sps are formed. One s, one p. One s, one p will give you two sps. Okay, sp hybridization. Sp. One is having two electrons, one is having one electron. This one it's not undergoing any hybridization. Okay, leave them. It's not undergoing any hybridization. Just leave it. Now coming to the oxygen, you are having in the oxygen 2s and 2p will undergo hybridization. Sp. Two hybrid orbitals. Each hybrid orbital is called as sp hybrid orbital. Two atomic orbitals s and one p undergo hybridization to give two sp hybrid orbitals. These two sp hybrid orbitals, one is having two electrons, one is having one electron. So here also two sp hybrid orbitals, one is having two and one is having one. Now we'll see the orbital diagram, how it's going. Okay. Now carbon sp hybrid orbital is having two electrons, one. Here also. So now these hybridization, how carbon monoxide hybridization will see in the energy molecular orbital diagrams, how this is undergoing hybridization. We'll see. Now here, this is carbon, atomic orbitals of the carbon, atomic orbitals of the oxygen. Okay. So here carbon, here in the carbon, you are having sp hybrid orbital. One more sp hybrid orbital. One is two electrons, one is one electron. Okay, hybrid sp orbital, sp orbital. One is having two electrons, one is having one electron. Okay, now coming to the oxygen, 2s2, yeah, 2s2 electrons. Okay, and 2p are having two more electrons, hybridization orbitals. And now these are unhybridized orbitals. Here you are having 2py1, 2pz1, unhybridized. These are unhybridized orbitals. Now these two are also unhybridized orbitals of oxygen. 2py1, 2pz2, unhybridized orbitals. Now in this one you are having how many electrons? Here, see. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Carbon 4 valence electrons. And this oxygen you are having 6 valence electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 in the hybrid orbitals, 3 in unhybridized orbitals. Okay. Now we'll see the molecular orbital diagram. Okay. Previously that is 1s, 2s, sigma 1s, sigma star 1s, sigma 2s, sigma star 2s. Everything is over. Now here. Then sigma here. These two undergoing hybridization. And 2sp orbital 2. So here hybrid orbitals 3 plus 1. So total here having 6 electrons. Total 4 electrons, total 6 electrons, total 10 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, total valence electrons filled in the molecular orbital diagram. So carbon, this is the molecular orbital diagram of the carbon side. Okay, so valence orbitals, valence hybridization. Here valence orbitals opposite hybridization. Okay, this is carbon side and this is the oxygen side. Okay, I think you have understood. In the carbon, here two hybrid orbitals. One is having pair of electrons, single pair of electrons, single, and two unhybridized orbitals with one electron and empty. And empty. In the similar way for the oxygen. For oxygen. Here, sp hybrid orbitals with pair of electrons and single electron. Hybrid orbitals with pair of electrons and the single electrons. And two unhybridized orbitals, single electron and the pair of electrons. Single electron and the pair of electrons. Okay, this is the molecular orbital diagram of the carbon monoxide. I'm just going to give you a glance of the hybridization and see how it is formed. We'll see. So the bonding in the metal carbon. So you have understood M bond, how it is formed. M, yeah, M double bond, C double bond. That is why it's forming. M double bond, C double bond, O. That is the hybridization is taking place. I'll just to give you a glance how it's taking place, the total hybridization. Metal and carbon, 2 bonds, one is sigma and pi. Carbon and oxygen, you're having 2 bonds. Okay, so metal and carbon you're having. So with the hybridization, the hybrid orbital we are having, okay, I have already represented and showed you. With sp hybridization of the carbon, with the sp hybridization of the carbon, sp hybridization of the carbon, we have carbon and oxygen, then form the sigma bond. Okay, so these two will form a sigma bond. Okay, the two py orbitals of carbon and oxygen, the two py orbitals of the carbon and the oxygen will form one pi. These two will form one sigma bond, and these two will form one pi bond. Okay, because this is the hybrid orbital, you are getting the sigma. It is unhybridized orbital, this will form the pi bond. Okay, now I hope you are clear. Metal double bond C double bond oxygen. Carbon monoxide is forming C double bond. Previously that is C triple bond actually. Here these two electrons are donated to this empty orbital. So it will form triple bond. See carbon, carbon, oxygen, you're having triple bond. Hybrid will form one sigma bond. This unhybrid will form another pi bond. And empty, these two electrons are donated to this and it will form triple bond. C triple bond, carbon monoxide. Now this ligand, it is approaching the metal. It is approaching the metal here. C triple bond. I told you now, carbon, one hybrid orbital, and the oxygen hybrid orbital, one bond is formed, sigma bond. And unhybrid orbital, single electron will give you another bond, that is pi bond. And the third one is empty orbital of the carbon, and filled orbital of the oxygen will give you the electrons, and another pi bond is formed here. Because that is unhybridized, you call it as pi. Okay, carbon triple bond is formed. Now the ligand is approaching the metal. Ligand is approaching the metal, and it's giving its one electron pair to metal. So therefore, C O, you'll be having double. One bonded electrons here. One lone pair of electrons are donated of the carbon are donated to the metal. Therefore, the sigma bond, metal sigma carbon monoxide bond is formed. Okay. Previously, carbon monoxide it is having triple bond. How it is formed? Simple way. sp hybridization. Okay, these are left free. This one hybrid will have bond sigma bond. Unhybridized py will form one pi. And pz two electrons donated to empty bond and form the triple. So carbon triple bond oxygen is formed. Carbon monoxide is formed. It's very clear. Now this carbon monoxide has approached the metal. It has approached the metal. So this carbon is giving its two electrons to the metal. Thereby it is forming a sigma bond. And metal is in turn again it's giving its back donation electrons and forming pi bond. Back donation, it's giving a pi bond. Okay. So after carbon monoxide bonding to the metal, the bonding is in this way. Metal, double bond C, double bond O. That is the bonding in metal carbonyls. Okay. Previously it is C triple bond O. And after bonding to the metal, this carbon, it is giving its electrons. Therefore, one bond is formed here. So again, in turn, metal is also given. So metal double bond C double bond O is. This is the bonding in the metal carbonyls. Okay, M bond C triple bond O, or else you can even see M double bond C double bond O. However, you can see two cases very clearly I'm explaining. However, we can see two clear cases of the metal carbonides bonding. One is the M single bond C triple bond O. The other one is M double bond C double bond O. Okay, M single bond C triple bond O, or else M double bond C double bond O. So in this way, you can see the bonding in the metal carbonyls. Okay, I have shown you carbon monoxide molecular orbital diagram, and I have explained the bonding in metal carbonyls. So you repeatedly, if you see, you can understand the very simple bond. Okay, very simple bond. Okay, so one metal single bond C triple bond O, metal or else metal double bond C double bond O. Okay, that is the bond. Okay, so one is the sigma, one is the, okay, if it is M single bond C triple bond O, then M and C is having the sigma bonding. C will be having one sigma and two. And the other case of bonding is M double bond C double bond O. There M and C are having double bonds. One is the sigma bond and one is the back donation of the electrons from metal to the carbon. That is back bonding. That is back bonding. And carbon double bond O. One is sigma and one is the pi. Okay. So today's class, I have explained introduction of the metal carbonyls, the classification of the metal carbonyls. We have seen the introduction. Okay. And then I have explained you the classification. I have explained you the metal carbon bonding in carbonyl compounds. Now we'll see what is effective atomic number, a very important aspect of the metal carbonyls. This will govern the stability of the metal carbonyls. So what is effective atomic number? It is proposed by Sidgwick. It was proposed by Sidgwick. All the complexes, effective atomic number, it is given by Sidgwick. Metal carbonyls are very stable because central metal atom gets electrons equal to atomic number in nearest to inert gas configuration. So you know inert gases, 18th group elements, okay, 0 group elements, neon, argon, helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon. Okay, these are the inert gases. They doesn't undergo any, most of them, mostly they don't go on any reaction. They are very stable. So metal carbonyls try to attain the stability by getting the nearest inert gas configuration. Argon configuration, that is 18, or else krypton, or else xenon, radon. So these are the configurations that they try to attain. Okay, so they are stable. When central metal atom gets the electron equal to that nearest inert gas configuration, then that is called EAN, effective atomic number, a stable configuration. So EAN is the atomic number of the metal, that is Z, plus twice the number of carbon molecules. EAN is equal to atomic number of the central metal ion minus the oxidation state plus 2 into number of carbon monoxide ligands. Finally, you get the formula effective atomic number is equal to atomic number. Generally, oxidation state is 0. I have explained it. Metals, most of the metals in the carbonyls are having 0 or plus 1 or minus 1 oxidation state. Most it is 0. So AN is equal to, so Z minus 0 is again Z. So Z plus 2x, sorry, it's nothing but 2x. Okay, so nothing but x is nothing but number of carbon monoxide ligands. Okay, so EAN is equal to Z plus, EAN is equal to Z plus 2 into here, 2 into, okay. So EAN is equal to Z plus 2 into number of carbon molecules, 2 into number. Here, the star has come, it's wrong. 2 into number, 2 into number of carbon monoxide groups or ligands. Okay, just forget the star. The formula is oxidation state is 0, so Z minus 0 it is Z. Z plus here Z plus 2 into number of carbon monoxide ligands. 2 into number of carbon monoxide ligands. Okay, that is the formula. Now let us calculate. You can understand effective atomic numbers. So next class I'll explain in detail how it is calculated. We'll just see the tables, the table and the metal carbonyls and their EA and role, how it's followed. Nickel tetracarbonyl, one example. Atomic number is 28. Total number of ligands, carbon monoxide ligands are 4. Okay, so I have told you EAN is equal to Z plus 2 into number of ligands. 2 into 4, 8. 28 plus 8, 36. Krypton configuration, a stable metal carbonyl. Next, iron pentacarbonyl. In the iron pentacarbonyl, iron has atomic number 26. Number of carbon monoxide ligands are 5. No bridging, no MM bonds. So 26 Z plus 2 into 5. 2 into number of carbon monoxide molecules is 10. 26 plus 10, 36. Okay, krypton configuration is a stable carbon. Now vanadium hexacarbonyl will take. Vanadium hexacarbonyl, 23 is the atomic number. Number of ligands are 6. Okay, so Z plus 2 into number of ligands, 2 into 6. Z is 23 plus 2 into 6, 12. 23 plus 12 it is 30. Almost nearing to the inert gas configuration in that state. Okay, but paramagnetic star indicates the paramagnetism. Now chromium hexacarbonyl will take. Even this chromium hexacarbon, atomic number 24, number of ligands are 6. 6 into 2. 2 into number of ligands. 2 into 6, 12. 24 plus 12, 36. Again, binuclear metal carbonyls will take. Manganese it is 25. Okay. Number of ligands are 5 because here 2 metal atoms dividing 10. So what is the number? 2 metal atoms are dividing 10 ligands. So each metal atom will be having 5. So 25 into 5 into 2, 10. 25 plus 10. But metal bonded. You're having metal bond. How many? 1. So plus metal bonds. 25 plus 10 plus 1. 20. 36. Similarly, in this one also you're having iron 1 bond. Calculate. So 26 is iron. Okay. So number of terminal carbonyls are 3. Bridged are 3. Okay. So 26. Here you're having 26. Okay. So electrons per molecules, once if you see, you are having, here you're having bridged, you are having electrons, you're having the sum of the carbons that are bridged. Therefore, you take here, bridging atoms are 3. 26 plus 9 carbonyls. Each one will be contributing with 1. Okay, 26 plus here 3, here total 9 carbons. Number of carbonyl compounds you take and 1 bridged compound you take. So 26 plus 9 plus 1, 36. Okay, so tomorrow's class in detail I will draw and explain with the structure the EAN for this bicarbonyls. Now what I'm explaining, you see, and next session, clearly I will draw and explain you how you are getting EAN and how these are getting stabilized with sequence. So iron 26, 3 carbonyls, that is free, 3 to 6. 6 plus 3. For bridge, you'll be having 6 plus, here, 3 into 2. These are only the terminal ones. Terminal ones into 2. 26, 3 into 2, 6. Plus 3, plus 1. Okay. Now, in the cobalt carbonyl compound, atomic number is 27. Okay. Terminal, you're having only 4. 4 into 2, how much? 8 plus 1. Only the terminal 1 into 2 you take. Okay. So here, if there are any bridges, that one you just add. Here only bridges, bridged atoms are 3. Directly over. 3 into 2, 6. 6 plus 3 plus 1. Now, 4 into 2 plus 8 plus 0 plus 8 plus 1. 27 plus 8 plus 1. You get 36. Rhenium carbonyl line. You see, this is 75. On each atom will be taking 5 carbonyls. So each one you're having each rhenium 75. And each one will be hitting 5 carbonyls, 5 to 10 plus metal bonds plus 1. Okay, next, tungsten carbonyl, 74 atomic number, 6, 6 to 12, 0, 0. Okay. Lithium carbonyl, 44 is atomic number, and you are having only 4 terminal, remaining all carbonyls are bridged. Okay, 4 into 2, 8 plus 2. Okay, so each lithium will be having 4 carbon atoms. 12 by 3, 4 each carbon. Each central metal atom will be having only 4. Each central metal atom atomic number. Each central metal atom will be having only 4. So therefore, see here, 44, 4. Okay, 44 is the atomic number for each lithium. Each one is having 3 carbonyls. Sorry, 12 by 3. 4 carbonyls. Each one is having 4 carbonyls. 4 into 2, 8. 44 plus 8 plus 2. 54. Stable composition. See here, generally I have explained, general explanations given how the EAN is there for metal carbonyls and how they are getting stabilized with us. Next session, I'm going to explain in detail by drawing the structures, how the metal bonds are there and how we are getting the EAN and how these are getting stabilized. Okay, I hope everybody have understood my session. So today's class introduction is over and the classification is over, bonding is over. Just to remember very simple bonding for the metal carbonyls, M single bond, C triple bond O, or M double bond, C double bond O. M double bond C, you're having 1 sigma, 1 pi, by back donation. And C double bond O, 1 sigma, 1 pi. Okay, M double bond C double bond. One is the sigma, one is the pi. Similarly, carbon and oxygen, double bond, 1 sigma, 1 pi. That's it. Okay, so 2 resonating structures, M single bond, C triple bond O, or M double bond, C double bond. M single bond, C triple bond O, or M double bond, C double bond O. Okay, so hybridization we have seen, molecular orbital diagram of the CO molecule I have explained. What is effective number? A brief introduction is given with the brief examples. Okay. Next class in detail I'm going to explain. Thank you everybody.